Welcome to the Vanilla to Vixen podcast. This show contains adult content, so if you are under 18 or easily offended, please switch off now. Mr. and Mrs. N are not qualified relationship counsellors. This show is for entertainment purposes only. Now the disclaimer is out of the way, sit back, relax, and enjoy our journey from Vanilla to Vixen.
Welcome to episode 73 of Vanilla to Vixen. We are your hosts, Mr. and Mrs. N, and we're also known as...
The Naughty Couple.
It's the husky tones of Mrs. N this week.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be sultry. I'm just full of snot.
Oh, how sexy.
I'm so sorry.
Let's start. It reminds me of a story.
Does it?
Did I ever tell you the story about the old Marine and the blonde with a husky voice?
No.
I've not told you that story. I'm going to tell you that story. So an old blind Marine wanders into an all-girl biker bar. An all-girl biker bar. Can you imagine that?
That's difficult to say.
And he wanders in there by mistake. And he finds a bar stool, and he's obviously completely blind, so he's feeling his way around, finds a bar stool, and he orders a shot of Jack Daniels. After sitting there for a while, he yells at the bartender, "Hey, bartender, you want to hear a blonde joke?" The bar immediately falls absolutely silent, and in a very deep, husky voice, the woman next to him says, "Before you tell the joke, I think it's only fair, given that you're blind, that you should know 5 things. 1, the bartender is blonde, and she's got a baseball bat behind the bar.
Right.
2, the bouncer is a big blonde girl. Okay?
Yeah.
Number 3, a 6-foot-tall, 175-pound blonde woman with a black belt in karate is standing right next to you. The woman sitting next to me is a blonde and professional weightlifter, is number 4. Number 5, the lady to your right is blonde and a professional wrestler. Now think about all that very seriously. Are you sure you want to tell that blonde joke?" And the blind Marine sits there and he thinks, shakes his head, and he mutters, "No, not if I'm going to have to explain it 5 times." Oh.
I feel insulted.
Well, we have only got one blonde lady, though, today, because we've got a very, very special show lined up for you.
Yes.
With a very special guest.
Yes, she has returned.
She's returned. Our VVIP.
Yeah.
The fabulous Tina Vonteese is in today.
Yay!
So she's coming to speak to us about... it's a special show, isn't it? Because, you know, you get those shows like Christmas at Hanley's, Christmas at Selfridges.
Yeah.
And today we've got Christmas at Vanilla to Vixen.
Not sure it's going to have the same impact, but hey-ho.
She's going to give us lots of Christmas tips for present ideas and all sorts of things.
And she's also going to be giving us an update of what she's been up to since the last time she visited us. Because
she's a bit like an enigma.
She is.
Tina kind of appears and then disappears and then reappears. So it's going to be very exciting to know what she's been up to.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yay!
And joining us now in the studio is the fabulous Tina Vonteese.
Woo!
Oh, hello again. You must be desperate. I think it must have been at least 6 episodes ago I turned up. Well, what can I say? Yes.
Well, I mean, we had to ask you back because you are now the ultimate Santa after seeing you in your Santa Claus outfit at the Vegas Vixens party at Liberty Elite.
If anyone remembers, actually, a certain film that comes out every Christmas, I think it's called Love Something or Other, actually, because we've got to be careful about copyrights.
Yes.
And a certain singer and his backing singers.
Oh.
That was the inspiration for it.
Tina, you blew those backing singers away. I was telling everybody at the door, we have sexy Santa Claus today.
It was very rock and roll Santa.
I wouldn't say rock and roll. I'd say more on the lines of sort of, how can one put it? I've got no bloody idea, actually.
I was telling everybody that we had Sexy Santa and his naughty little elf, which was AKA Delicious Debs.
I'm not sure, Debs.
Well, it depends how you interpret the word naughty.
Oh, I was thinking
I was going to say more along the lines of little, actually.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Which I've actually, as a tribute to you today, I've put my big ones on.
I know you have.
They still don't compare, but then nothing compares to you. Whoops, that's another song. This is a bit of a rocky start, isn't it? Okay, right, let's get into business then. So
I've just got to say, Tina, just before we start, you are wearing the most amazing jewellery that I've just got to pick up on.
Oh, you mean my Busby badge?
It's wonderful.
Oh, it's a British Telecom logo, isn't it?
It looks amazing. It's this retro Telecom, but it's in gold. It looks amazing.
I know, I got it from a charity shop for 50p.
No.
Yes, it's probably some poor little office ladies.
Ripped from the neck of Busby himself before they put him in the oven.
I think we're talking a completely different language. This is not starting very well. Right, stop. Rewind and start again. Right. Hello, good evening and welcome. So, right, where were we? Vegas Vixens, yes. Friday night. Somebody turned round and said, you need to turn up looking like Santa Claus. I went, OK, Debs, not a problem. Any ideas you've got about trying to look like a game show host, forget it, Tina. It's not going to happen. And you're certainly not going to pass for a certain Bruce somebody or other Forsyth for Play Your Cards Right, are you? So in which case I sort of disappeared into the wardrobe and pulled out last year's Christmas outfit, which was actually the year before's Christmas outfit and seems to work quite well.
It did.
It was beautiful.
Yes, just have to be really careful how I wash that one, otherwise all me white bits go pink. So yeah,
I've never seen so many erections over Santa Claus.
Oh, come on, it was good fun. I was absolutely bricking it, to be honest with you, because what happened was somebody turned around and said, right, we're not going to do roulette anymore. We're going to try Play Your Cards Right. Now, if anyone's ever watched the television programme, it's quite complicated. It's not the standard stand there and just go higher or lower. You've got to sort of ask questions and try and get the audience to participate.
And in fairness, Delicious Debs had watched many, many hours. She got herself really into this.
I know, she really had studied it. She then turned up at my room prior to the evening with this list of questions I have to ask the audience that had been done of a rather, shall we say, sexual nature. Together, when I read them, I thought half the people that have answered this survey are the biggest bunch of liars in the earth. So I was sort of quite bemused. So anyway, there we are. We're handing out raffle tickets. Now, I think there's probably a lot of nervous newbies at this event because I was calling out these numbers.
We did have a lot of newbie couples.
We did.
Either they were deliberately sitting on their hands or they'd destroyed their raffle ticket for fear of being called out. I know.
It. Just eating the raffle ticket rather than be called out.
I do wonder that, but then I also wonder, we got the mechanics right of it, but never mind, doesn't matter. We ended up doing it. The first couple that were on stage were fantastic. They were really good fun. One of them is known to us already, and it was almost as if it was like a plant, but it worked quite well. Shouting out to Mr. Hookie.
Did he win a prize?
No, he got trashed, I think. I'm not sure, actually. I can't remember now.
See, I missed all of this because
I don't know what was won. I mean, it could have been something rather interesting, but people were rather clandestine about what they'd won, so I've got no idea what you put.
Because we actually wrapped everything up in Christmas paper, didn't we?
Well, Mrs. N wrapped it all up.
I did.
I stood and watched.
Yeah.
I mean, the DJ was getting rather desperate because, I mean, I was taking the proverbial out of him quite a bit. I was very well restrained, though, because I did try and give him some suggestions of some reasonable music to play so that at least could get the party started.
Yes.
So I'm quite sure 9 Inch Closer is not a particularly good song, but it works quite well. And because obviously now the dungeon area is open slightly as well.
Yes.
The suggestion for a certain song by The Prodigy and smacking someone's woman up was probably not the best one to suggest. So he did look at me with raised eyebrows, but we got there in the end. So that was an incredibly nice evening. I did enjoy it. It was good fun. And I mentioned the dungeon equipment. I never actually lifted a whip. Did I need to?
No.
Do you know what was really nice was the fact that people had heard about it recently because of the Vanilla to Vixen one.
Yeah.
And the fact that there's been a little bit of talk about it socially around the fact that for the first time ever, the equipment's there and it can be used.
It's there for a swingers night.
It's there for a swingers night. And there were people that were coming on the strength of the first one. Oh. And it was lovely because they well managed it themselves. Everyone seemed to be quite happy. Everyone was safe. And... you know, it was like, oh, my work is done here. I don't need to do anything.
Never.
The swink is working for himself.
Yes. I mean, let's be honest, the equipment that is out and provided, it's not heavy, intense equipment, is it? It's sort of...
Playful.
Playful to get you started.
Yeah.
Learning-ish.
Yes.
Learning-ish with that element of risque.
Yes, absolutely.
Because we've kind of heard and we've spoken to a lot of people that are very curious, aren't they, of going in that direction, but obviously a little bit nervous about anything too heavy. So rather than go to an actual kink event...
You can just wander into that room.
Yeah.
But there was a couple there that I know... in fact, I remember the lady, when we went up to Nottingham, she was there because she was very, very, very pleased to see the fact that the equipment was there. And she instantly looked at you again with a view to, I wonder if I can do some more flogging on Mr. Naughty.
Yes.
I have a feeling I know who you're talking about.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
She's gorgeous, isn't she?
She's adorable.
She knows what she's doing as well.
Yes, she does.
And she seemed to enjoy my bottom. That's what I'm going to say.
That's another discussion, boys and girls, and those of us yet to decide. So, anyway, cut a long story short, that was very successful for an evening. I did enjoy it.
Yes.
I thought the big playroom was lovely, and I thought there was a nice atmosphere in there, and there were no cock-wombles.
None at all.
Everyone was superbly behaved.
I've got to say, very lucky.
A special call out to all the single guys who attended Vegas Vixens. They were absolutely amazing, all of them. Exemplary in their etiquette and how they behaved around couples. And
perfect ambassadors.
Perfect.
Absolutely. And I'd just like to say we've had a lot of compliments from people about how amazing the single guys were that night.
Yeah.
So thank you guys.
Definitely.
You are valued occasionally.
You are. Absolutely.
Always valued by us.
I'm not quite sure what happened because I ended up on the big bed.
No.
I know you did.
But I was next to somebody else that's quite popular. And it was only when the corner of my eye, when a certain person turned around and said, I think I just put my foot on someone's head. At the same time as I was looking up thinking, I thought my yoga antics were interesting. And then realised what was going on with that certain lady and the side of the bed. And
I'm going to name and shame her because she's
No.
Don't. Because everybody knows. We've talked about her before and she is incredible. And she has the stamina and the bendability.
She'll have her new workout video coming out next Christmas. It's called Sexercise at Christmas.
Yeah, she is the most beautiful, gorgeous Fanny Ann who came on the podcast a couple of weeks ago.
She was stunning, wasn't she? That white, the white body she was wearing.
Yeah.
Oh, cell gel.
Yeah.
Honestly, so
Yeah,
Jab.
she is incredible to watch.
She rocks it, doesn't she?
She
but there were some
certainly
very,
does.
very attractive people there.
Yeah.
I mean, the dress down was more like, Anne Summers, eat your heart out.
Yeah.
And what I liked about it, that we've spoke about before, they're beautiful people of all shapes, sizes and ages. So you don't...
Yeah.
You don't have to be under 25 and size 8.
Nope.
To come to a Vegas Vixens or a Vanilla to Vixen.
No, otherwise that would beat me out the door, because that's the thing I'm definitely not.
I nearly shot somebody.
Did you?
Yes.
In what way?
Well, I fired a glass dildo out my bottom. The only problem was, I think someone was walking past at the time.
Oh, how good did I miss that? I think I might have picked that up. I just thought it was a strange Christmas decoration. The club was beautifully decorated for Christmas, wasn't it?
It was.
It didn't have tinsel on it. That would have rubbed. So that brings us on to Christmas. Now, I did mention about I was going to have a look through your shop. This is not a commercial, by the way.
Would that be vanillatoVixen.co.uk, Tina?
You'll find she's got it in there already.
I repeat, that's vanillatoVixen.co.uk.
If you do too, don't stop it. I'll start using this lot on you.
Yeah, I'm quiet.
I had a look through there and I thought to myself, so if I was interested in a little bit of, how can you put it, bondage or sensual play, that sort of thing, and I was just starting out, what would I recommend to couples that were interested in trying something without spending an absolute fortune?
Oh yeah,
never to use it again if it doesn't work out.
This is golden. I'm
golden.
really interested
Yes.
in this.
We
Really
have the
interested.
Queen.
Me and Mrs. N have no idea what's coming now.
Nope.
There'll be no premature already. So I looked at the concept and I thought to myself, there's that television programme that a lot of people are talking about where people spend an absolute fortune and they modify certain rooms in their house.
Yes.
And they think to themselves that the children will never find out, which always amuses me because they go, if you look at this bookcase over here, you'll never guess. After we've come down 16 paddle steps, come back sideways on each other and hidden ourselves in a ceiling that's 3'4". We have our own sex room.
We love that programme, don't we?
It is good.
So I looked at the concept of how can we have a bit of fun in a room without it becoming obvious, as in, I wonder what those rings are doing on the ceiling. And why are there chains over there? And that's an interesting clothes dryer. Why does it have buckles and chains on it? So I'm going to share a little bit of practice tips, really. Large bed. One of the best investments I think you can do, so to start with, is a little bit of mood lighting if you haven't already got it in your bedroom. Mm-hmm. Even if it's just a couple of side lights.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Or,
set the ambience.
I've never thought about lighting as part of almost like as part of the play. Really,
Yeah, you've got to have the right setting because
you need decent blackout curtains for starters, so that you can change the whole light in the room. Secondly, you can get some really, really cheap but really effective lights that you can literally program for normal daylight, and then you can flick them to blue or flick them to red.
Yeah.
And then you can change the atmosphere of a room without having to change any decor or anything like that.
Yeah.
Okay. The next thing is separate bedding. A black super king size sheet.
Okay.
Okay.
Super king size. If you've got a super king size bed, or even if you've just
Doesn't matter. Okay. Just get the biggest sheet you can. Okay. So you've got your bed, right?
Yeah.
And you've got, I don't know about you, I've got oodles of pillowcases. So obviously the pillowcases, you can put them at the top of the bed. You've got a headboard. Always suggest if you can find an innocuous looking headboard, but it does have finicles on the edges, those pointy things.
Yes.
Okay, so all you need to do, get your big bed sheet, fluff up your bed underneath. If you are someone that is perhaps, how can one put it, gets very, very indulged and perhaps becomes slightly moist. You can shove a mattress protector underneath the sheets, so that covers it. You get your black sheet, you take it right up to the top of your headboard, and you get a cheap piece of, actually, Vanilla To Vixen sell it. You sell 10 metre lengths of rope.
Yes.
Yes.
So, all you need to do, loop it up on itself, pop the sheet over the headboard, grasp the finicles, loop the rope round the top, loop the rope round the next side, pull it backwards and forwards across the top, tie it off, and you've got yourself a massive play bed with a sheet that won't move. And instantly, you've
Tina's
got yourself...
top tips.
So, and when you finish playing, there's no evidence whatsoever.
Just whip the whole
Whip
thing
the whole
off.
lot
whole
off,
thing off.
shove it in the washing machine, bundle up your rope. But when the rope is tied to the finicles at the top of any headboard, okay, once you've slipped the knots, so you double it up and you loop it through itself like a loop and a slip on one finicle, run it across the back of the bed with the sheet tied, tie it back on itself, run it backwards a few times. One, you've got yourself a lovely grabby rope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Two, there is no evidence of anything. And the sheet just rolls all the way down the bed, covering the divan, everything.
So that could be an amazing
And it's
Christmas
black.
gift.
And it's black.
You could have a super,
And it's sexy.
super king size black sheet and 10 metres of rope, and you've literally got yourself a play bed.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
But what difference that would make to the whole
The ambience,
feel
because
of
you're
it.
not...
Yeah.
Yeah. And you've got a mattress protector. You can put waterproof sheet or something underneath.
Yeah.
And you can do exactly what you want, and then when the job's done and the game's over, you can either just unloop the rope, slide underneath the covers and sort it out in the morning, but again, you can whip it all off, pop it in the washing machine, and no evidence.
Perfect.
Right?
Perfect.
Okay.
It's awesome.
It's good as well. It's good as well if you've got a meet and you're a bit sort of like
Oh yeah, I've got loads of black sheets.
not happy with your bedding or whatever.
Yeah.
Just get yourself a black sheet and then no one sees anything, sees your bedding. Excellent.
Well, exactly. And the other beauty of it is that, as I say, you pop a mattress protector between that and your bedding, you know how comfortable your bed is.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you're not sort of defiling your own bed sheets.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes,
Absolutely.
Totally.
Okay. So, and I've looked at the price of super king size 200 Egyptian cotton is the best. Don't go for microfiber, it's always sticky. and you can blow probably maybe £13 and just wash it separately. And you've always got black play sheets. And
Brilliant.
black is lovely because you know what else is something that's nice with black?
What's that, Tina?
When bits of white go on it.
Guilty as charged.
And you can pick them up like glass and just don't drop them. But so that's one little tip. Anyway, going back to your shop, I've had a dig round and I've had a look at the gear. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. There are places online where you can get different things, but it's the quality rather than the cheapness.
That's what we always say.
Now, I've been digging around and I've looked at what you've got.
Yeah.
And I think you've got a Rouge paddle there. It's a red one.
Oh, I like Rouge stuff. You say
Now, Rouge is good quality. Now,
That's why we got Rouge on there, because I just like the Rouge stuff.
yeah, but it's leather.
I know.
It's not pleather, it's
Yeah.
leather.
I know.
Right? And it's just under 28 quid. Now, that sounds a lot of money, but in actual fact, you could spend half that and the item you've got will last probably about 2 plays. And it doesn't aesthetically look as beautiful as that does, because, I mean, the crocodile texture is gorgeous.
And you don't get the smell and the feel of it.
Do you find that the difference between the leather and the pleather gives you a different feel?
Thwack.
It's
Thwack.
more about durability as well.
Okay.
And it's about the leather is a natural product. Some of the pleather stuff I use is great fun, don't get me wrong, because it's washable and it's everything else. But, you know, it doesn't last the same way. It starts to degrade, the edges start to fray. And you know, if you're going to invest, the next thing is the folded paddle, right? Rouge Garments do a folded black paddle. Now, you know I love these because you pull them through the air and you can crack and you can make everybody in the room jump out the skin. Right? You can hold your hand flat with it. You put your finger in the gap between the two folded sides, slap someone's hand, and it sounds as if you're ripping the skin apart, and it doesn't hurt them at all. And it's all about the game of sound.
Yeah.
So
and
you
it's
put your finger between...
If you put your finger in the flap...
Yeah.
So if I'm showing you, you can see on the website, the curved one, you rest a finger in the gap there.
So for our listeners, this is just leather that's almost folded over. It's
like a
strip of leather which is just folded over.
Yeah. But you put your finger in the side and you can change the sound, the frequency and everything. And you can make the most wonderful noises, but you don't actually hurt anyone.
Brilliant.
Okay? If you take your finger out the strap and they've been very, very naughty, that's different.
Is that going to give a bit
more intense?
It's going to make a lot of noise and it will start to make a bit of a sting.
Okay.
But obviously it's the more you swing your arm, the more the power comes into it and the more you trap the air.
I was very lucky enough to have a proper lesson with the fabulous Tina about how you... hold the flogger and
let the flogger do the work.
Exactly. And it makes a big difference.
It was my bottom you were learning on.
It certainly was. Was.
Okay, so now we were talking about restraints. Now you can spend an absolute fortune on restraints, and it's one of those things where, especially if you're learning and you are a couple experimenting, some people may find that when you actually put sort of Velcro cuffs on or something like that, you have a bit of a red moment because you're thinking, no, I don't like this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is why I come back to the idea of having a rope across the top of the bed for them to hold on to.
Yeah, rather than...
And they're in control.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I've spotted a pair, and I'm not quite sure whether or not you got the price right, because they're only £17. Now, they're velvet and Velcro wrist cuffs. So there's no buckles, but that's two cuffs which will be totally inert on the inside surface, so there's no nickel or anything. And because they're Velcro, you've got that whole...
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a good halfway house. Okay, and they're on your website, and they're called Ouch Velvet and Velcro wrist cuffs, which I thought were rather good.
Ouch is again, it's a manufacturer I really, really like, which is why we have loads of stuff on there. They were on our websites from.
Yeah, but it's good quality stuff.
I know, it's good.
Now, there are something else. There's a Blaze Luxury Fetish Whip. It's £13. Now, that is not the longest one in the world.
Yeah.
But it's ideal for a bit of sensation and a cheeky sting. And because it's sort of just under a foot long, it's not something that's going to be difficult to conceal.
So could you explain the difference for our listeners, what the difference is between a longer flogger and a short flogger?
Okay, so if you can imagine, a short flogger is more of a sort of a sensation thing, so you can trail it over the skin, around the neck, down the side of the spine, over the chest, over the boobies, and trail it over them, and it will feel as if it's like tentacles running over you. And waking up your skin.
Especially if you've perhaps blindfolded or...
Well, I'm going to come to blindfolds in a
I'm
minute.
sorry, I'm jumping ahead. I'm a naughty boy. I've got the Tina look.
You're very brave.
I've got the Tina look now. I'm being petulant.
So a small one is quite good fun because you can learn to do a sort of flicking with it, that sort of thing. And it's very much a light wrist movement. You can't put a lot of force into it. When you have a longer whip... a longer flogger, obviously there's a lot more air gets trapped in the floggy bits, the stringy bits, and at the same time you can literally just let the movement do the work for you, so you can do more sort of sensation, as in the sting, or letting it literally land on the skin and fall downwards, and that sort of thing. So the longer it is, and personally, I always say 2 foot.
Okay.
Which is the length of the flogger. So you want about 18 inches of dangly bits.
Okay, so
6 inches of the hard bit. Okay. Right. They're not cheap. Good ones are not cheap, but if they're made from suede or they're made from leather, then they will last you a very long time before they start to disintegrate.
Yeah.
And at the same time, they are a bit more awkward to conceal in wardrobes, just in case someone says, can I just go nip in the water? I'm just going to get a shot. Oh, what's this?
So really then, a top tip is, if you're on a budget, to spend more on the flogger and less on the restraints, or even not bother with the restraint.
Yeah.
Buy some rope, or just like you say, spend the money on the flogger.
Yeah, I mean, that's quite good. They do a very nice, pretty lace mask with straps. Now,
yes.
it looks wonderful, but I'm going to be honest with you. You can actually do really, really well if you just get yourself a nice black scarf.
Yes.
Yeah.
And tie that.
Yeah.
And it's easy to wash it.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that, if it's your mask and it's between you and your partner, then it's okay. Yeah. In my situation, because I'm sort of literally, right, that one's cooked, who's next? I've got a large quantity of washable padded face masks.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I'll always only ever one mask, one person.
Yeah.
Nobody wants conjunctivitis from a night out, do they?
No.
Good point. Good point.
So just bear that one in mind. The rope comes in all sorts of different colours as well. It's quite nice, isn't it? The black and the red.
I like the red. The red's my
Purple's
favourite.
nice. Purple's nice. Purple and black is lovely.
Purple and black. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
Oh, 2 favourite colours. But then red's nice as well. So those are bits and bobs that I've had a look at in the shop. Rather than actually spending an entire fortune and blowing everyone's Christmas budget on a lot of kinky things that you may well turn around and go, oh my God, that's expensive. There is one other thing that I would say, and that is the Rouge Garments red leather flogger. Now, that is a treat.
Yeah.
It is sexy.
It's 40 quid, but I tell you what, it is absolutely gorgeous.
But the thing is, if you pay that little bit extra, you're going to have something that's going to last you quite a while.
Whilst I love my existing ones, there's always room for more. It's a bit like collecting things, isn't it? There's always an excuse to find room for another one.
It is a tool, isn't it? It is a tool.
Yeah, but it's every time you get a new piece of equipment or a new, how can you put it? You've got that whole adventure again of working out how it works.
Yeah.
Yes.
And how you can get the best out of it.
Yeah.
And you don't want to sort of fill your workshop full of thousands of tools, and just literally go, well, I've got that because it's there. When I buy something, I've got it because I want to work it, I want to learn it, I want to share it. And it's just wonderful when you suddenly discover a new one and you think, oh, that makes a completely different sensation. That's even better. Look at the reaction I've got there.
Yeah.
So that was sort of where I was on the Vanilla to Vixen shopping list.
It's fascinating.
Fantastic.
Which I actually enjoyed looking at it, because I then went onto the internet and I started comparing it against other places. And I looked at the quality of the others and I thought to myself, do you know what, in actual fact, these jammy gits have got it right.
I tell you what we do see, and what manufacturers have sent to us, and that's a lot of the kits. You know, where you buy the bondage kits, but the quality of them is always cheaper, which is why we don't really stock a lot of them. We don't stock barely any at all.
See, you can have just as much fun with a beautiful, nice big black sheet, a bit of rope, convert your bed into a bit of a play bed. You've got that wonderful sensation of, we're not going to mess up the beautiful duvet set.
Yeah.
Then you've also got that whole scenario of, you can then invest in a few little bits and bobs, and you can spend an evening just experimenting with those.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's before you even think about putting a few scented candles in the room, dimming the lights, and even just switching off all the other lights and just having one light on. So you've got this whole thing about blacking out any distractions. And you can have a wonderful evening just discovering each other.
A lot of the kits which you see on eBay, and things, they come with a really, really cheap...
the chains and clips are rubbish.
Yeah, exactly. The really, really cheap sort of floggers.
Yeah.
And you just think, but you might as well spend all that, like Tina said, on a decent quality flogger.
Yeah,
and a black sheet.
Yeah.
And you've actually got much better equipment there than what you'd have in one of the sets.
Very true.
I mean, I must admit, I have indulged in... I spent the princely sum of £19 today, and that was on a new king-size 200 grade cotton Egyptian sheet and 2 pillowcases, because I've got cats. And I can guarantee you, I've got through more bloody sticky rollers.
That dog was just perfect timing. She went, I've got cats. The dog just lit up with barking. Brilliant.
You naughty dogs.
It's not one of ours. It's next door's.
I'm looking through the glass here, and I'm looking at a certain woofer, and she's looking at me as if to go, wasn't me.
Yeah, that's right, it wasn't.
Right, so that's all the waffle about the Christmas shop. By the way, Christmas, I'm going to destroy some people's personal favourites here. Anyone like Lego?
Oh, me.
Are you a Lego
fan?
Well,
You see,
I love Lego.
After the old Darth Vader thing.
Oh, the Purple Mamba.
Finding the Darth Vader.
Purple Mamba, one of the items lost and found in Purple Mamba was let me get this right, I think it was a Darth Vader Lego figure.
It was.
Complete with swords.
Lightsaber.
I can imagine that was a little bit prickly if it was used to...
it was reclaimed though, wasn't it? Somebody did actually
was it reclaimed? I don't remember. I thought it was thrown out.
You see, the connotations of Lego and BDSM in my particular mind involve putting it onto a hard floor and making a slave walk across it barefoot. There's always going to be those little 4-piece ones, and the triangular roof tiles are absolute bastards on the heels and the feet, and you can make them kneel on it as well. That's even better. Or even lie on the floor as if they're like on a bed of nails.
Oh, that's making me twinge, just the thought of that.
Oh, could you imagine a number 4 on the floor?
Oh.
Oof.
Standing on Lego. I suddenly feel like I'm in a Home Alone movie.
Yeah. But no, seriously, I did a bit of digging around, and it was only because it was something that came up on a forum that I was involved with, where somebody sent me a link to a Lego dungeon figure.
No.
And I thought, no. And I went digging around, and the advent of 3D printers has created an entire fetish world of Lego.
Oh, that is cool.
I just have this thing. If you go searching out Lego dungeon equipment and you get past the Harry Potter bit, it's certainly not going to be a Chamber of Secrets. But it's such a giggle. And even figure not included. You can order the figures separately. Oh, black clad latex PVC dominatrix Lego figure.
Oh, that's just how the world has moved on.
That's something for Etsy, isn't it?
That's one of the places that you can find it.
Brilliant.
So I just thought to myself, I just mentioned that for a bit of a shits and giggles, really, to be honest with you. Just imagine that one, if someone has sort of, in the fetish world, decides to create their Lego dungeon, and then somebody comes round and goes, oh, that's an interesting set. What's that one? It's Harry Potter on Dominatrix. So
what else have you been up to, my lovely, since we last saw you?
I went on an explore. I went to another club.
Right.
Ooh. I got invited, right, to a place called Penthouse Playrooms down in Dunstable.
Okay.
Excellent.
And I put the word out amongst a few of my friends, and we sort of went along to a gentleman who's been very, very famous on the scene. He's been around I'm not going to say he's been around for a long time, because that would be disrespectful. He's very well respected. He's a lovely guy. His name's Tattoo Talent, and he hosts a buy night on a Friday at Penthouse. And Penthouse, if you've never been there, it was originally called Arousals a long time ago. It's a very innocuous building on the outside. It looks like an office block, and you could quite easily mistake it completely from a club, because there's nothing really that shouts apart from one little door with a little sign on it. So it's a bit like the sort of Green Club in London, which was a place where a lot of people used to meet, and it was just a green door. Not even a sign over the door, but everybody knew what that door was and what it opened up into inside, which was a wonderful haven for particular elements of our society, shall we say.
Yeah.
So again, there we were staggering across the road. I'm carrying Pandora's bag complete with rocket launcher with a friend of mine. And obviously, the way I was dressed, somebody was walking down the street and basically sort of went, "You want to go to that door there, love?" It thing. And we knocked the door and inside we opened up. And it's a lovely club. It's on 2 levels.
Yeah.
Downstairs, absolutely superb facilities. Lots of lockers, changing areas, showers, that sort of thing. Big hot tub type area. And this massive dungeon. Oof.
Oh, you found...
Oh, it's gorgeous. The artwork in there is amazing as well.
Do they have soft drinks? Can you bring your own alcohol, that kind of thing? Or
I'll wait for the next bit.
Okay.
You're doing it again, Mr.
I'm getting excited.
Calm down.
I was getting
Got this
excited when
lovely big wide staircase which is illuminated all the way through. So it's like walking up into a sort of, into a show thing. And then wallop, the main club. And massive dance floor. Really lovely, well-appointed bar, all beautifully backlit, and it's even got a lit counter, so the counter glows, like UV, so you can see your drink and you can sort of go, oh my goodness. There's a big social area, and then the number of playrooms in there is amazing. They're all themed, different themes, and it's like a rabbit warren. Honestly, there's loads of places you can disappear to quite happily. You can even disappear up a little bit more and you can overlook and see everything while you're busy fucking. It's ridiculous. Excuse my friend.
No.
Really nice club. For a Friday night bar event, it is probably number 1 in the country. The crew that were there were fantastic. And it was quite funny, actually, because I did turn round and I had a word with some other friends of mine mentioning playgrounds. I knew I'd get that slid in there somewhere.
Smooth,
so
darling.
we all decided, do you know what? We'll go down, we'll go to Tattoo's party, we'll have a bit of a playgrounds on the night out sort of thing. So we roped in a few other friends. We all turned up. It was supposed to be a 90s themed evening.
Okay.
So Mr. Playgrounds turns up looking like Vincent Vega.
I was like, in his 90s, with his 90s music. Yeah. He's famous for it.
Tina turns up as Uma Thurman.
Oh, awesome.
Of course.
Right. The lady I was with turned up like Sharon Stone.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah, including the everything. Oh. But she had knickers on. And the rest of the place, everyone was just flipping normal. And we were like, as if somebody had gone and ordered a tribute act to go in there. And I thought, did we not get the message? It was actually just we're talking about doing 90s, not turn up like the 90s.
Oh, brilliant.
So, but the atmosphere was fantastic. The age group and the eclectic age group was fantastic because it was from relatively younger people in the scene through to people who were considerably older than me, which that's saying something. It was a wonderful evening.
Brilliant.
Absolutely brilliant. The bar prices were really sensible. I was quite shocked, actually.
Yeah.
And they weren't ridiculously expensive. And generally, I don't know where the night went.
It's always a good night when you like that.
And what was lovely was the mix of people. There was quite a lot of single guys there, okay? But again, I don't know what it is at the moment. Single guys seem to be behaving themselves.
Good.
They've got the message because the etiquette and the respectability, the respect of play. I mean, there was some quite interesting, intense play, shall we say.
They're all listening to us on Vanilla to Vixen. They're all listening to us and getting it.
And there were quite a few situations where I think go back a few years, I think there have been hot-blooded males have been like diving in there, and sort of wanting to have a bit of a bash as well. But they stood back and they asked and where they were welcomed, they were taken in, literally. everywhere. And it just worked out really well.
That's
it was
really
really
good.
nice. But again, credit to Tattoo Talent. It was a really good night. And if you are, and I can put this quite safely, one of us ones that's in the middle of life that enjoys everything and anything in any which way, shape or form, his by nights are fantastic. And as I say, me and a few of the penthouse a few of the playgrounds people went along, and we both sort of went, wow, this is good. Which brings me on to what's happened to playgrounds. Got to do this one. Rod, Jackie, and the whole team of playgrounds are back. They're back. They're back, and it starts on New Year's Eve.
Ooh.
At their new lifestyle lodge.
The Lifestyle Lodge.
It's in the Midlands.
Okay. Secret.
It is secret. It has to be secret because it's in a very prestigious location.
Yeah.
And if you search playgrounds on Fab or you have a look on Discord, there's a few links to playgrounds in Discord and also other social media platforms.
Yeah.
That guy that you don't like.
Who don't I like?
Is it Musk somebody else? Is it Twitter's or is it
Oh,
the one that
Elon.
won't give you your name?
Oh, he's mellow.
He's lovely, he's
him.
nice.
Me and Elon are made up because I quite like the look of his new truck. I do like the look of his new truck.
You are so fickle.
I'm ashamed to say.
Yeah.
It does look cool.
Oh, I've not seen his truck.
If you've
Can you
got
show me a picture?
if you've got a box of tissues, I'll show you the truck. I'll show you the truck right now. Hold on, we're going on.
Are we talking the same level as like tractors here? Because
No, don't start me off on. No, God, no. Matron, mustn't. No. So playgrounds basically have got a new location, and they're going to be launching something more along the lines of social parties.
That's Elon Musk's truck.
It's not a truck. It looks like something out of Joe 90.
That is.
Oh no, that's
that is-
given. Oh, Sean Gumble, blimey.
But
that's nice.
That's not a concept. That's not a concept. But,
Wow.
So.
Yeah, let me have a grope of that.
So.
Oh, I love it. Oh, it's got lovely angles.
But
hasn't
guess
it?
what? That's
Yeah.
almost bulletproof.
what do you mean
Literally.
by almost?
Well, that other podcaster who copies us, what's his name? Joe Rogan.
You wish.
He fired a massive bow at it,
All right.
and it just literally the bow just bounced off of it.
Huh?
That normally it would like
It looks
pierce
more like a
straight through.
mathematical puzzle than a car, doesn't it?
It's got
is
very
Jim.
sharp lines.
Should we get back on topic now,
Yeah,
please?
yeah.
You're deflecting.
Calm yourself down.
For anyone that tuned in for the sex, we're talking about Elon Musk's truck. Sorry, Tina.
No, I'm seriously worried. So, basically, Playgrounds, Rod and Jax, as we all know, and the whole of their team had to take a bit of a hiatus this year whilst they found somewhere new to live. And they've secured a very beautiful property. They're going to call it the Lifestyle Lodge, but they're angling it more on the social side of things. Although, what it does do is it facilitates things for new couples. And they're thinking about calling it. I came up with the idea actually and nearly got slapped across the face with a wet kipper for it. Because I turned around and said, you know that Channel 4 programme with all those pretty people
No,
on?
not Open House.
Tina, don't set me off.
Open House. Oh, Tina.
No, so we're going to call it Open Lodge.
I like it.
Now, the Open Lodge is basically designed as a concept for people that are curious about the scene, that don't want to go to a club to find out from real people about the real side of what it's all about. Because it isn't all about sex, drugs and rock and roll and swinging and shagging and naughtiness.
Absolutely.
It's about the friendships you built, and we've talked about this before.
Yes.
And it's about connections and chemistry, and that is 99% of a really good evening. So the whole concept around lifestyle is and the Lifestyle Lodge and Open Lodge social nights, which will be coming in 2024, is giving people the right impressions from real people that live it.
People with real experience.
Yes.
Like
that live
Rod
it.
Yeah.
As I always say, knowledge is power. So the more knowledge you have on something, the more powerful you feel, the more in control you feel.
Very well put, Mrs. Anne.
Oh, well, you know.
Very well put. Talking, if I can just butt in here, also in Leicester, I hear a club has changed its name.
Well, it's funny you should mention that because I'm hosting a party there on Saturday night.
Are you?
Yes.
So somebody said to me, oh yes, we go to this club in Leicester, and I had never heard of the name. I was like,
Uniques.
I've not actually talked about this with Mrs. N. I'm not.
You've not been there since it's been changed. It's changed twice since then inside.
Right.
Okay. Now, the owner and his wonderful crew have got plans again for it. I tell you what, I was joking with him on the phone the other night because I turned around and said to him, have you seen the new Doctor Who? And he sort of went, why? I says, because, excuse me, T, but fuck me, you're making the TARDIS look like an amateur because every time I go in there, you're making more space out of. What are you doing? How are you doing it? And he's saying it's just he works every single millimetre of space in that place, and he's got some wonderful changes planned yet again. And I say it's like Doctor the TARDIS in there. It just feels bigger each time you go in.
Excellent. So we're talking about Amigos.
We are, and I think that the last time that we went. They were actually doing some renovations at the time, weren't they?
They were just talking about it just beginning with the first round.
Yes.
Oh, he did the first round. He did all of that, and then he got fed up with it and he's changed it again. Do you know what? It's like some people do with the bedroom. So
you say you're hosting a party?
Yes.
So tell us more.
Oh, it'll be one of Tina's Christmas parties. Oh. I do them at Amigos every year. I did one at Halloween as well. Where basically there may be a well-organised hosted event the week before.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't do anything to detract from that one. Now, the wonderful Wolf and Kitten had an amazing Christmas party there last Saturday, you see. Yeah. And at the same time, I know that there are a lot of people who have different weekends that they can play.
Yeah.
So whilst you always want to sort of go to these things, it may well be that you've got sort of circumstances that preclude you from being able to attend that weekend.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes ladies have a certain time of the month.
We do.
And you plan these parties and then you get let down because it makes it a bit difficult sometimes.
Yeah, Mother Nature decides to come visit when she's not been invited.
Absolutely.
So what does one of Tina's parties consist of, my lovely?
Basically, I'm hosting with a gorgeous friend of mine called Little Me 123. Me and Little Me 123, we've known each other for quite some time. I think we first met via someone else that I'd known for some time, and she is very, very attractive. She's bubbly. She's a bit of a character. She knows the scene inside out, and we've had quite a lot of giggles on the way. So basically, we will turn up. We won't introduce loads of party games or anything like that. It's more about just a big social. We get people talking, and then I'll go and put her on the cross and whip her senseless. But no, I won't do that actually. But we'll do sensual, we'll do some demos, that sort of thing, and just get the party started and socialise, get people talking. And people generally sort of go along on the pretext of there'll be something happening because those two are turning up. Because when we turn up, other people will pop along thinking, I'll go and see the old trout.
I mean, having actually witnessed you do a demonstration and stuff, it's
good fun.
I can recommend it to anybody. It is worth going to watch.
The best thing ever was when we had a few couples who, when we said we've got Tina Vonteese and a dungeon.
Yes.
And their eyes literally just glazed over.
I know.
They were so excited. It's like, we're here.
Do you know what, as well, the Thursdays in Amigos, Uniques Amigos, call it what you want, on a trade description, that's always getting it wrong. they're massive. I went in the other Thursday night and it sold out of lockers again. I thought, what the hell? This is Thursday night.
Yeah.
And I went in there and it was bloody, honestly, it was like the Hong Kong subway. Seriously, I kid you not. The doors opened and there were bodies everywhere. And I thought, crikey, if the doors closed, somebody would get their head chopped off. But it's the smallest club, I think, in the area, if not the Midlands, and yeah, it's got the biggest heart.
Yes.
And I don't know how people manage to fit in, but it's not like Caligula and, you know, like the big playroom at Libs on that other night when there were like bodies everywhere, and it's like, Jesus, looks like someone's got a pot of eels in here. Do you know what I mean?
It's nice because every club is different. Every club has its own character. It's just different. And you've got more intimate places, you've got big open places like Liberty Elite, you've got places that are more intimate, and it's just good. It's good.
And then, as I say, you go back to playgrounds and you look at what Rod and Jax are doing with the house party game, and you know, the new venue is lovely. It's got some lovely space, and during the summer I think it could be really nice.
And that's just a social.
That's a social.
So it's just a social, again, so different.
But it opens the door because you meet people at socials, you tell them about clubs, you tell them about what you think might work for them, and they ask you a question. There's no judgment, there's no politics about, you can't talk about that club here.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all, you know, and I've got to be careful what I say because I don't want to be saying the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And it's private as well, so it's not like a social in an open pub or somewhere. So
that's the other thing you see, because you know some of these pubs have socials, and I think it's a great idea, but there's no sort of, how can you put it? It's difficult to keep the privacy side of it.
Yeah.
We walked into a particular venue, and you know, whilst it wasn't obvious what we were up to, someone like myself striding into a perfectly vanilla pub with the middle of a football match going on, he'd immediately raise his eyebrows. So some people might find that a bit awkward.
A visual attraction, I would describe you as, Tina. A visual
distraction. I think I stood in front of the bloody television screen and bent over and showed me bum and turned around and went to score a goal in there.
The World Cup was on or something at the time. I remember it well.
It was good fun. But so that's that. So we talked about Penthouse, we've talked about Vanilla to Vixen, we've talked about Vegas Vixens, we've talked about the shop, we've talked about Kinky Lego,
Amigos becoming
uniques, amigos, and do you know what? It's still the pricing in there is really sensible.
Good.
And they do ask that you sort out a membership beforehand, so that's how they can run it.
So how would you do that?
I think you contact them via their website, and even if you search Amigos Leicester, it still links to uniques, which is good.
Okay.
And it tells you there about how they do it. Yeah. I think you can pay on the night, but they do charge a premium for that because they have to punch it. They have to have it all on the system.
Yeah.
And you know, I think it's also a way of sorting out the wheat from the chaff as well. So you just don't get people turning up at the door just going, "Can I come in, please?" And it's like.
And if anybody's interested in coming to one of the socials at the Lifestyle Lodge, how do they contact?
Yes, because it's secret. How do they find it?
That's easy. You look for Playgrounds on Fab. The Playgrounds on Fab.
On Fab Swingers.
On Fab Swingers. There's also Instagram, The Playgrounds one. And I think they're on Twitter as well. And they've all got their own webpage as well.
Okay. Thank you so much for coming along today, Tina.
Well, that's filled up the evening, hasn't it? That's got you an episode in before Christmas because it's difficult to get older people now, isn't it?
Well, I feel so grateful because I feel this has been... We were watching Channel 5, I think it was. Channel 5 are doing Christmas at Selfridges, Christmas at Hanley's.
Yes.
They're doing all these... And I feel now, we've had Tina Vonteese doing a Christmas at Vanilla to Vixen.
At the Naughties house.
Oh, honestly, you do talk some tosh sometimes.
Of course.
Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to buy you a Lego set. I'm going to make you walk barefoot.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yes,
and then hit you with one of your own floggers.
As punishment for talking shit.
Do I get a staff discount for these floggers?
Of course you do. Of course you do.
Yes.
It's not what you know, honey.
Just get you a mince pie again.
I know you came bearing gifts and everything.
I know.
It's only because I forgot to give them out. They were supposed to be losers' prizes for Play Your Card Game. The idea being... It was the squirty cream that was going to get them all turned on.
Yes. See, I missed all this because I was on the door.
This is what I think next time we do the games, right, listeners, remember this, listeners, because at the next time they're doing party games, we switch them off from hosting at the front door for 5 minutes and we get them round to do the first opening round on the game. Yeah. So one, you're all following them and not ignoring the game, and two, we can make them look like complete idiots.
Hi, hello. Excellent.
I would love that.
Larger or smaller?
Oh, I'm partial to a little larger.
Yes, we all know that.
But talking of Vegas, we just to plug it now.
Yeah.
The very next Vegas Vixens.
So we're going to beat the post-Christmas blues.
We are.
Post-Christmas blues.
Is that the January one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Seriously, because after Christmas, New Year, you get that horrible thing of like...
Yes.
Yeah. And so January...
It's still winter. There's nothing to look forward to.
No, that's it.
All the festivities are over.
Yeah,
You've got to burn off those mince pies.
Yes.
You get all the depressed adverts for holidays. You do. All these like amazing holidays. And you totally brass it because you spent it all on Christmas. So January the 12th, we've got a... Beat the Post-Christmas Blues Vegas Vixens party.
Yes.
And then what's going on in February? Oh, February, the big reveal. You've got to confess now. Come on, you can't hide it. February?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You've got another party in February, haven't you?
Yes.
Yes. Wait there. Mr. Snow, just hold the line a sec. Mr. Snow and the scheduling Sing community, this one's for you.
Oh my God!
You very naughty boy.
February. That has beaten some sense into me.
Oh yeah.
Mr. and Mrs. Snow from the Scheduling Sin podcast are coming live all the way from transatlantic America. They're coming to Vegas Vixens.
DHL courier class. Mr. and Mrs. Snow, right, they come from the other side of the universe, in other words, America, right, again in a tin box. They're flying over, right, they're landing in an airport, and they're going to spend a few days finding out what the wonderful world of UK swinging and UK lifestyle and UK naughty hobby is all about.
And they're spending a few days with us.
Yeah.
It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. Yes. Thank you so much.
Right, I'm off. Can you let me go now, please?
Yes. It's a pleasure as always, my darling.
Get me tea now, love. Come on.
Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
Take care, guys.
Watch out for the adverts. There's more coming. See you later. Bye. Happy Christmas.